Hi, I'm Pamela from Pamela's Patterns, and welcome to my studio. I'll be showing you how to shape the number 116 classic t-shirt dress. Before you get to that step, the instructions will tell you how to make sure that the shoulder and the dart area fit you properly too. I've got my dress put together, and now it's time to do the shaping. I've designed the dress to be bigger than most people's shapes, and it's also designed for an hourglass figure, which some of you might not have. So the idea here is now that you will shape the dress to your shapes. And we don't want it to be too tight. We want it to just skim your curves, not pulling in so that any fluff or scallops show. So I've already pinned in one side, but you can see from here that the shape is not exactly where my hip is. My hip is a little bit higher here, so I've got this little bump I need to get rid of. I also need to take in a little bit at the waist and possibly the back as well. So I'm going to start by pinning that in. This takes a little bit longer when you're doing it for yourself. It would be great to think that somebody could be there for you to pin things in for you, but it just means that it takes a little bit longer, and sometimes it means that you need to do it a couple of times, like pin it in and baste it, try it on, do the whole process again before you get the shape just right. I know that when I'm doing it for myself, it usually takes me 3 or 4 times the first time I'm fitting a garment to get all the shape in exactly where I want it. But then after that, we mark the pattern. It's all done for you for the next time. I'm also working on the tapered dress version, so it kind of tapers in at the knee, kind of like a pencil skirt would. So I want to check and make sure that I don't have it too tight. I'll probably take this all the way through the hem and see if that proportion looks good. But see, it's not too tight. I still have room here, so I think I'm happy with that. Now I want to check the back, and it's really hard to do unless you have a hand mirror that you can look at the back. So when I look at the back, I can see that I've got a little bit of extra fabric right back here that I'd like to pin out. And sometimes it's hard to get your hands back here to do a whole lot of pinning. So again, occasionally it's kind of a trial and error thing until you get it just right. So I'm just pinning a little bit right here, just by feel. And then I'm going to double check with my hand mirror. Oh, as you can see, I pinned it too tight. I have some unsightly wrinkles there that I would like to get rid of. So I'm just going to go back and repin. Looks like I just need to take a little teeny nip out of this to get it right. And I always think a shaped back looks really nice. It kind of accentuates your smaller area, makes you look thinner. It's all about the illusion, you know. So I think that's better. Got a few wrinkles there still, but I think once they're sewn they'll go away, but I'll just double check it to make sure. I have the dress pinned and on the cutting table, and I'm going to take the dress in as well as the pattern at the same time. Assuming I'm symmetrical, I'm going to take the pins out of one side of this. If you have one hip bigger than the other, then you'd want to do this separately. On this side, I've taken the pins and just put them through the single layer of the fabric. And then I'm going to turn the whole dress inside out. going to match up the side seams, keeping the side that I have pinned visible. I'm going to place this right on top of the pattern. So I'll match the pattern pieces up here. Sometimes it's helpful if you want to just put a couple of weights down to hold that in place. And then line up the edges of the dress with the edges of the pattern. And this is a way you'll know that you have your dress marked and the pattern marked all the same. I'll put a few more weights down here. And then you would mark your 1/4 inch seam allowance from each of the pins and cut it out. I tend to do this by eye, but certainly if that makes you uncomfortable, you'll want to mark it with a chalk. And I'm going to continue this all the way down through the hem. And then you can see that all comes away, and the pattern and the dress is all marked and ready for sewing. So I have changed my pattern, adjusted my dress, and restitched it. What you don't know is that this is the second time I've done it to get just the right shape. So I did have to tweak it a little bit. I had a little point right here, just had to shave it off a little. It's okay. You can do that because you're sewing it, so you want to make it just right. And so I'm looking at the front. I'm happy with that. And then I'll just double check the back. The key is to try not to twist when you're doing this so you can really see. And then I think I'll maybe just try a belt and see what happens. I got this a cool elastic and belt buckle when I was shopping in New York, and it's really neat the different things and notions that you can find, and you know, just to see, do I like a belt with it. I think with this one I do, and doesn't that color just match perfect? What are the chances? So I'm real happy with the fit of my dress. All I have to do now is hem it, so stay tuned for some great hemming techniques.